Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome to GordonStateWeather.com, GordonStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic 24 hours a day. And this is B. Arthur, when she opened up the door in her 1970s sitcom called MAUDE. And, well, you got to open up the door with a smile on your face. It is Friday, folks. This is the daily video forecast discussion for this Friday, the 8th of May, 2020. This morning we'll start out with the latest severe weather browser from iWeatherNet.com. This was a bow echoing line of thunderstorms that passed through Arkansas. It's now getting into Louisiana and Mississippi here, and it passed through portions of northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Oklahoma, and Dallas. And there were some storm reports here. These storm reports did show up. Lots of thunderstorm wind damage and power outages in this area. We'll get to that in just a moment. And some hail too. Some of these storms now have gotten into portions of Jackson and Mississippi here. And these are severe thunderstorm warnings here. And outside of that, this is part of the storm system that is coming in our direction. We can already see light precipitation beginning to spread out now in the warm sector here across Pennsylvania into northwestern New Jersey. None of this is probably reaching the ground just yet, but it will. Give it time. A couple of hours ago, we only had power outages here in Oklahoma and Texas, but now that's spread into Arkansas and Louisiana as well. Let's go into Arkansas currently right now and see if we can pull up the map here of the counties that are involved in this. There's a few here in the county of Arkansas, county tract at about 13,000. So, you know, these are enumerating because of the fact that we had these strong thunderstorms that passed through this area, are working through the areas now. I don't know. Are we going to have power outages here tomorrow? It's possible with the winds, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Can't seem to shake these allergies with all the pollen that's out there. Continually go outside and clear the decks and the tables of the pollen, but you know, running the purifiers in the house, but you go outside and you're just filled with pollen of showers and thunderstorms that pass through Oklahoma, now into Arkansas, and look at all these strong wind damage here in this bow echo line here. This is upglide precipitation around the west coast. Let's check out low-level water vapor because that's what we like to do. We do. This will work. Sometimes when you're recording and you press the button over the top layer here, it doesn't work. Wow, here we go. Here's all that convection and this dry line that formed here across eastern Texas and Oklahoma. This is a very dry line in here, right here, and look at all this convection billowing up here as it passes to the south and east and into Louisiana and Arkansas right now. This is another interesting thing. Look at all this dry air that's in place here, pushing and impeding on the convection that's already over parts of Mexico. You never usually see this going in this direction. Usually it's the other way around. So this is an interesting sight to see on satellite imagery. And here's our big storm system here now up over the Great Lakes, actually into southeastern Canada, if we can get in here. And that upper low and this storm system and cold front will be making its way to the east coast during tonight and tomorrow morning, changing any of the rain that's coming out now. You can see this outflow boundaries here in the striations of the high cirrus clouds spilling over the top here into the Tennessee and Ohio River Valley area. This is outflow here from all of this convection down in here. And this is going to help with this, get this thing going and change the precipitation from rain to snow tonight. Yes, I know. It is May 9th, and the last time that happened in the air was like 1977, so it has happened before. This is interesting. Another upper level low here over Montana. Outflow boundaries, upper level convergence and divergence and diffluence here. So it's a very interesting pattern going forward. This, to me, is spectacular to see on Doppler. On satellite. Storm Prediction Center's mesoscale analysis this morning shows the area of low pressure developing along the warm front here into, let's say, the Ohio River Valley into Pennsylvania here. So we're getting some vestiges here of some light precipitation breaking out across eastern and northeastern Pennsylvania into New Jersey. Meanwhile, we have this big storm center with a low down in here, another low pressure area over Arkansas and Louisiana with the bow echoing line of showers and thunderstorms. High pressure has been nosing down across the Midwest all the way down into Mexico. So that's the reason why we're finding that boundary there that we just looked at on the satellite. Weak surface troughing also over the western United States across California all the way up to Washington and Oregon. Convective outlook for today. Marginal to slight risk of severe weather again across the Gulf, Louisiana, and Alabama here. National fire dangers, it's elevated across the upper northwest, Midwest here, the southeastern states and parts of northern Florida, and it's very high and elevated here across Mexico, not Mexico, but New Mexico and Arizona. And there could be some dry thunderstorms in that too. That's what it's, downdraft thunderstorms, or thermals, we call them thermals in meteorology. And of course, this morning we do have that thunderstorm watch box out for portions of Arkansas and Louisiana, portions of Texas as well during this morning. And it's valid until 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Back to New Jersey Rutgers WeatherNet. This morning we have temperatures in the 40s to low 50s, mid 50s in the south, upper 40s and low 50s here in northwestern New Jersey. The minimums this morning, if we can pull this up, we're in the 30s again in northwestern New Jersey. I'll get used to this because it's going to happen again tomorrow morning as well. Yeah, so had some temperatures in the low to mid 40s across the region today, this morning as well. Let's see, let's take a look at the relative humidity right now. Still kind of dry outside, even though the precipitation's coming in. It's going to take a little while to wet bulb the column and to cool the atmosphere down enough so that this saturates, and with that saturation, that's when the rainfall was going to come down, but that's going to be later today. And the reason why none of this is happening right now is because we still have an onshore flow developing across central and southern New Jersey, and the wind speeds are all very light this morning, and the wind gusts are very light as well. Not reporting any major problems with that. Taking a look at the latest infrared or visible satellite imagery, plenty of cloud decks now beginning to build in through, let's say, the Hudson River Valley, all of Pennsylvania, most of New Jersey now, in the coastal areas here, excepting central and southern New Jersey's coastline, but that's going to fill in too in just a little bit. And of course, yesterday was such a gorgeous day, and over the last 24 hours, there's basically no precipitation here. Maybe 2/10 of an inch, 2/100 of an inch, actually, 1/100 of an inch in spots here and there. But you know, we're waiting for the rain to come in later. And latest radar coming in from Fort Dix this morning. Yes. During this hour here, shows light precipitation beginning to break out now across the Hudson River Valley, northwestern New Jersey, the Poconos, and southeastern Pennsylvania. National hazards today from Pivotal Weather. Well, all of this here in purples here is all freeze warnings for tonight and tomorrow morning. And that covers a large swath here from the upper Midwest, the Ohio River Valley, the Appalachian Trail here, and into the northeast, into northwestern New Jersey and the Hudson River Valley area, just slight of Philadelphia and slight of the coastlines too. These are frost advisories here for the Virginias here. And all of this down here is wind advisories. Some flooding still on the river. I don't understand why that box is showing up there. And then we have some additional excessive heat warnings or red flag warnings here in this area here. Or actually, this severe thunderstorm watch right now. And then, of course, in Texas, everything is going into wind advisories here. And we've got high heat into California and probably into Mexico, too. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. National temperatures this hour. Look how cold it is here. Look how cold it is here in the Rockies. It's even chilly here in Florida this morning. That's chilly. But already temperatures rising well into the 70s in southeastern Texas and in parts of Mexico as well. Mexico as well, and Southern California. These darn allergies. Hard to breathe. So very hot here in the last 24 hours. The Mid-Atlantic has been okay. Look at the temperature change here in the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, southeastern Canada, and across the northern plains, all the way down into the Baja here. Actually, not the Baja, but into Arizona, the Rockies here. Yeah, so a lot of that cold air is going to spill in our direction. Well, save for the wind, but it's cold. Southeastern Canada, the northern plains, the Rockies, the Cascades here, the Intermountain West. This is some cold, this is the wind chill temperatures right now at this hour, so it's going to chill down quite nicely tomorrow with the strong winds coming in. Temperature maxes for today nationally. It's going to be quite chilly here in the northern plains into the Ohio and Tennessee River Valley areas into the northeast with temperatures in the 40s and 50s. It's really going to rise up into the 70s and mid 80s again in Florida and along the Gulf Coast states here in Texas. And also, look, we've got temperatures internally into Central California in the 90s and 100s here in Arizona, excessive heat warnings and heat watches in these areas. And of course, it doesn't show the temperatures here, but they're already going to be in the upper 90s to 100s in spots in Mexico and the Baja. National Digital Forecast Databases, national temperatures over the next 7 days. Let's do today on Friday. It's going to be cold here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic coast states and the Ohio River Valley area here into the Great Lakes and a little parts of the upper Midwest too. But look where the temperatures are going here, right through the roof in the hundreds, 90s and hundreds here all the way into California. It's going to be a hot day. Yeah, you're going to need to turn off those kitchen burners there if you're cooking out there in California or in Arizona, because you can cook everything just outside without any effort at all. Temperatures here in the Gulf states in the 70s and 80s. As we get into nationally on Saturday, it really cools down across the Northeast. You can see temperatures in the 30s and 40s, approaching 50 in southern New Jersey, but it's going to be a cold day tomorrow and windy too. Upper plains is cold, and of course the heat resides in Florida and the desert Southwest again. By Sunday, same story. The cold is abating, but stretching out across the northern plains into the northeastern states, trying to warm up a little bit here in the northern mid-Atlantic. And on Monday, again, trying the same thing, but a reloading of the cold here in the northern plains, the central plains, and the eastern United States, saving the east coast just a little bit until that cold air gets back in here. And it's probably going to try to do so on Tuesday. Same temperature profile, cools down significantly in California. Look at this. I mean, we'll go from the hundreds here to the 50s and 70s actually, but it's still going to be hot in the south. So, you know, how can you live in the northeast, right? And the cold just continues to abate, give way to a zonal flow on Wednesday, May 13th across the nation, the contiguous United States. So the cold is trapped up to the north. And finally, we begin to warm up to near normal again by Thursday of next week across most areas here in the northern mid-Atlantic and southern New England states. And it's still hot across the south, as you can see. As would be normal for this time of the year. We'll do a 10-day blend now of the National Digital Forecast Database temperatures here for today on Friday, upper 50s and mid-50s actually in most of northeastern Pennsylvania, mid and upper 50s to low and mid-60s to the south. Start to really cool down tomorrow. Temperatures in the 40s to around 50. That's cold here in New Jersey and New York metropolitan area, Philadelphia as well. We rebound into the 60-degree mark again on Sunday, which is still 12 degrees below normal. Comes the next batch of cold air on Monday. Upper 50s to around 60 here, in the 50s in Pennsylvania, heading in our direction on Tuesday. Temperatures again in the 50s. That is well below normal for this time of the year. We're starting to climb back into the 60s again on Wednesday with sunshine, and Thursday back into the mid and upper 60s across the region. Lower 60s from the north, and upper 60s to around 70 in Washington, D.C., as would be expected. Everybody goes warm on Friday, May 15th. That's next Friday, not today. Temperatures upper 60s to mid and upper 70s, even 80 degrees in a few spots down near Washington, D.C. Saturday the 16th looks good. Temperatures back into near normal, upper 60s, low and mid 70s. That looks good. And temperatures continue on that trend for next Sunday, May 17th, where temperatures are going to be near normal in the upper 60s to low and mid 70s. And we'll start off with the NAM model guidance for the New Jersey, New York, Philly I-95 corridor here. This is the winter overview here. So here comes the rain during this afternoon as the low gets going here into Pennsylvania. And that surface low then, moves off the mid-Atlantic coast states, changes some of the precipitation at higher levels to higher elevations to snow showers. We're not expecting anything more than, an inch or so in the highest elevations. And everybody else will see just snow coming in the air, but not reaching the ground in terms of accumulation. And here comes the northwest flow on Saturday. Here comes the winds, and here comes the snow flurries out of the Great Lakes into portions of New York State And some of those snowflakes could make it into northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey as well. Here's what it looks like on composite reflectivity. Here comes the light rain now getting in here, and the rain getting through here, and some of that changing to snow tomorrow morning before it exits. And then behind it, cold air advection, northwest winds, and down streamers from Kingston, Toronto, Buffalo, Detroit, Cleveland into Pittsburgh. Some of these may make it their way into northwestern New Jersey in the air tomorrow, and southeastern New York and the Hudson River Valley area as well. Again, tomorrow is just going to be a very cold and windy day. Yeah, here comes another storm system through Milwaukee and Chicago, dragging another front through the area later Sunday afternoon. That's heading in our direction too. Precipitable water in the atmosphere, not a lot to really work with here, even as the storm approaches and passes off the mid-Atlantic coast states. Washington, D.C. down to, up to New York City, it's marginal. And then all this dry air, which comes in place in water vapor imagery right on through the rest of the day on Saturday into Sunday as well. And it's a northwest flow until, nothing major here after that. So we're not looking at any major precipitation. If we looked at the total precipitation over the next 60 hours or so, and this would take us out to Sunday afternoon, not much here is falling. Maybe a half of an inch, maybe less than that, maybe a little bit higher than that in the Poconos down to Pittsburgh and Louisville and Cincinnati and Nashville, but not much precipitation here in terms of liquid. I want to take a look at the winds now as everything turns around and this storm system gets out of here and the cold front comes through. Well, those winds are going to be howling at about 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts. So we're going to be watching for some strong wind gusts tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And they could be approaching criteria that could bring down some trees and power lines. So of course we're going to be monitoring this as well. And begin to slacken off just a little bit as we head into later Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. But still, nonetheless, tomorrow is going to be a very windy and chilly day. And the wind chill temperatures are going to make it feel much colder than it is. Okay, chances of seeing snow at 1/100th of an inch, 1/100th of an inch here, is greatest across northeastern New Jersey, northwestern New Jersey, and the Poconos, obviously. If you want an inch or so, you're going to have to really go struggling up to Sussex County and Mount Pocono, and anything over that is, is a bonus or a plus. Nothing else is going to happen here except the cold air. So do as B. Arthur, better known as MAUDE back in the 1970s, does. When she opens up the door, greet everyone with a smile on your face. Hi, how are you? It's Friday, folks, and don't forget this weekend is, of course, Mother's Day on Sunday, so don't forget that. That's it for the video forecast discussion for this morning. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. For everything, it's GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You make it a great day. We'll see you later this afternoon.